Traders, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about AMC, and we had a little bit of a good move to like the 38 region today, followed by a quick rejection. I'm going to go over everything that I saw on the chart, what options I am looking at, what I traded, and where I see this thing going this current week. Today, I'm really going to be specifying and going over the current options on the week and kind of the dilemma you're facing every single week when you're looking at AMC. And I'm going to go over why I like January so much more than the shorter term plays right now. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Let's get to it.
I got no drip in my pocket. Must have forgot it, or maybe
All right, so we're going to get to the chart here in a second, but I want to look at the options and go over a few things very quickly. Now, you oftentimes see me go over Stonko Tracker, and what we're going to really look at is this left-hand side right here, the in the money versus the out of the money, right? And this is kind of what you're seeing every week. You see the next week starts to ramp up slowly, but really what happens is typically the week of, you have a lot out of the money and some slightly in the money. Now, the thing when we saw in the end of September, October, beginning of October, you had a lot in the money on those weeklies and even the next week after that. Right now, you're seeing a very small amount sitting in the money comparative to out of the money, less than 10%. Something I want to look at, and this is a little bit deceiving because right now there's actually a lot more than it sees. This is going to be E-Trade. You can look at your different brokers to see some of the open interest and volume. And what you're seeing is there's a lot of open interest sitting at the 37s. You have quite a bit sitting at 38s, 39s, and a bulk of those sitting at the 40s, and then some just really getting into ludicrous ranges down below. We're not going to really go over those because those are kind of unattainable right now. $40 being the most attainable, in my opinion, or the top tier attainable, right? These obviously being more likely to hit or get closer to, so those get in the money. But look at the volume. You have 27,000 at 40. And then you have 13, 17. This is really good because this can really start ramping up the price. If you look at the puts, there's really not that much volume and stuff flowing in there. Yes, I'm at 35, but ultimately everything else is pretty stagnant and low. And this can really help you pinpoint to where you see the stock going through the week based on the volume here, because option pinning is definitely a thing. So going into this, this is what really hurts the short-term play on AMC. Now, people say options kill AMC. And I wouldn't say that necessarily, but playing them stupid does hurt the stock or does hurt the possibility of getting those good moves. Because the reason why I like January so much is because you have so many in the money that most likely have not been delta hedged for. And that's really what we're looking at. And even these December 17th are looking pretty good as well, because we'll go over that in another video of the ones that are closer to in the money as well. But these are already in the money based on the current price. Now, this number could greatly change for the week depending on how quickly we move and where we get to. Going over the chart yesterday, there was two main areas I was watching. I was looking at that gap close and then pushing up to that monthly level about 39.5. That was really the highest I thought we could go for this current week. The shortest I thought we could possibly go was actually what happened. You had to push up to this 37.7, 38 region, and we saw a rejection. Now, oftentimes when you have some sort of gap closes, and I'm going to use Facebook's as an example today. So what Facebook did is a really similar chart actually to AMC. You pushed up to where that gap actually began, and you got rejected back down, and now you're pushing back up. Looks a lot more bullish, obviously, than AMC, but AMC nonetheless. Let's cover what's going on. And then you got pushed back down. In my opinion, you still are getting somewhat of a flag, not the worst possibility ever. The best area to get any buys if you're looking at anything right now would be about this 36.2 region. I don't think this is done. I think this was a little bit of a flash crash coming down. I don't think you're going to be pushing too much lower. I think these bottoms will hold fairly strong, but we'll have to wait till tomorrow to see. What I want to see is a slow move back and then a break and hold above this 37.7 region here. This is going to be the main area to watch. Can you get above this region here and hold it before Wednesday? If you can, high possibility start seeing volume flow in and pushing up here, because as we looked at the options count, there's a lot of options sitting at 37, which is really going to be big for you if you can start holding above 37 to push this region here and then holding 38. And that would make sense to hold below 39, but hitting this on somewhat of a wick up here. So that's what I'm looking on the short term. Now on a longer dated position, stuff like that, I'm going to give you a quick little synopsis as well. You're still making those higher lows periodically. That's still very good. Very, very good. Unless you start breaking below this 36 marker here, that's when I would start to get concerned. but I still think you're pushing up here. You're holding that support very well. We mentioned the 36.20 range. You're holding it extremely well. It's been a pretty strong support over time, so that's what we want to see hold on the long-term spectrum. So if you just have your stock, all you're really watching right now is just making sure you're holding this to keep the bullish momentum, because really your target here is going to be the 47.3 to really start getting that next leg to the upside, and that's what I'm looking at on the longer dated positions as well. Looking at AMC, you didn't get that next level push that you wanted, and you didn't get a break above the first resistance. However, I don't think it's done for the week. I still think there is some momentum kicking in there, and you have a lot of options sitting at very close to in the money. This is actually different than most weeks. Most weeks you have a lot of those options sitting very outside of the money, so they're not even attainable. So there's not too much of hope to get a next level push. There is hope in my opinion, because holding above 37 really could get you pushing to 38.5 before the week's end, and that's where I could see you really holding. Like I said as well, there's not too many puts sitting at in the money either. Most of those are sitting at around 35. That's where a lot of those are at right now, and those currently are not in the money. So you're going to want to keep an eye out for that as well. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Twitter, Discord, everything like that below. And remember, boys, we run the market.
But I'm about to take off like a rocket. Houston, we might have a problem, but that don't mean